Hey guys, happy Monday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at alliseeisW, where we talk about stocks, Bitcoin, and finance. In today's video, I'd like to share with you latest updates with the Bitcoin market. We'll also be doing technical analysis of Bitcoin as well as strategy MSTR, along with me sharing with you latest updates with strategy, and you don't want to miss it. I will be playing a recent video clip of Michael Saylor, so stay until the end. And if you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's begin, guys. In today's market, we had about $1.1 trillion added to the US stock market today. What happened on Friday? We had a huge bloodbath with everyone selling off. But you know what? Just with all of the recent news, we have a pro crypto president. We have President Donald Trump really just positioning the United States to have a strong economy. And this is why there's so much investments into the United States with, the Middle East as well as Asian countries. This really boosts the confidence of global M2 money supply to go up, and there's going to be more to come. We have remarks posting. President Trump says the US will boom in 5 to 6 months. So just think about all of the partnerships that President Trump has created with different countries with AI in UAE, as well as US manufacturing happening with Hyundai with Korea and Toyota with Japan, along with other countries right now making deals with the United States so that tariffs can be reduced. That's a strategy that Trump is playing right now. He's playing 4D chess, and most people who are worried about tariff news and all that, tariffs really brings in revenue for the United States, and that's what positions the US to be very strong. Eric Trump posted over on the weekend, let me say it again, buy the dips, Bitcoin, Ethereum. He said this, a while back when Bitcoin and Ethereum price started dropping down. Yes, it continued to drop down, but since his posts to current state, you're actually up by like 30%. And when things started dropping again, he stated it again, buy the dip. Watcher Guru posts that the White House prepares executive order to fine banks that discriminate against crypto companies and conservatives. Just think about this. I mean, prior to this presidency, we had so much discrimination against crypto companies. There wasn't much clarity around the regulatory framework. We now have changes in the SEC. We now have a pro crypto president. We have, a whole team to really look at how we're going to implement, crypto initiatives for the United States to be the powerhouse of crypto and AI. There's so much clarity. Now, even, banks, they have the ability to, work with customers, given the fact that Bitcoin and crypto is now considered a commodity. And this really changes how we look at financial reporting on the accounting books, with companies now able to, price Bitcoin at fair market value with the FASB accounting change. We're really seeing bullish sentiment with crypto. That's really transforming how we're looking at traditional finance. So there's more to come. We're still early in this market. Evan poses, will the rate cut cycle begin at the next FOMC meeting in September? So now it's interesting because the poly markets, they're currently pricing in 73% that Jerome Powell and the Fed cut rates by 0.25% FFR in September. So we continue to see, the projections that there's going to be a rate cut heading into September. In fact, I read somewhere that it's gone up by like 80-90% for anticipation in the month of September. So we'll see. Only time will tell. Plan B posts Bitcoin July close RSI 72.5, solid uptrend. My analysis, I mean, he talked about RSI on the monthly. He's anticipating that we're going to have, RSI of like 80 plus for Bitcoin. That's when I really do think that Bitcoin's going to have a nice breakout session. One thing to keep in mind, Bitcoin, we're in a bull market right now, and any dips in a bull market, take advantage, Why? Because Bitcoin hasn't even reached its price discovery yet in this phase alone. So, I really do think sometime in Q4, transition into Q1, we're going to have Bitcoin price have a nice run up. Bitcoin Therapist posts is today. I don't know who needs to hear this, but 200,000 Bitcoin by end of year is conservative. What is he saying? Tom Lee even forecasts Bitcoin to 250,000. Arthur Hayes says Bitcoin going to $1 million, before 2028. Put it in the comments where you think Bitcoin is headed. How high do you think Bitcoin is going to go in this cycle? I'd love to read through all of that. Julius posts is MSTR is at oversold levels that have historically aligned with the market bottoms. We saw what happened with MSTR, even solid earnings dropped by 8%. Since 2024, this signal has appeared 3 times, followed by an average gain of 260%. So when we say buy the dips, why? Because for every dip, that's when things start ripping. And he's saying that would push the price up to around $1,300. So let's just look at these vertical lines as we measure those dips. Yes, we saw, MSTR getting to 550 at one point. It dropped down, current price, hovering close to that 400 range, getting back to that top point. But this is truly another dip. I do forecast 2025, the remainder of the year, we're going to see MSTR price, running back up. Send it up, boys. The OG Brett posts MSTR, the trend is your friend, holding this trend line from the lows of last July. Massive weekly cup and handle targeting $760. No more ATM equals Valhalla. Pump it, Poppy, Saylor. So, we got that line drawn at 760. And on the near term, we're going to have, that upward higher lows is where we're headed. And, slowly but surely, we're going to march along to 760 in the coming months here. Let's take a look at technical analysis of Bitcoin. So where we are right now, Bitcoin hovering today, it got up to 115,000. We're stabilizing. Saturday, it dropped down to 111,000. We recently had that run up top to 123,000. Good news is that, we had RSI cool off a bit, which is what we want to see. I mean, RSI, when it ran up, it got to 76, now cooling off at 48. It's only a matter of time when we will continue to see Bitcoin establish itself. It held very well around that support level of 111,000. Think about it. Back in May, back in June, we reached prior resistance of 110,000, and now we're now claiming support around this area. It's only a matter of time when Bitcoin will continue to, trend up. As we head into 2025, 200,000 is very possible. I think it's achievable. It's going to be coming up very soon. Let's take a look at MSTR price, targets, just based on the technicals. One key thing I want to point out is look at the RSI drop from 66, and it tanked all the way down to 31. That was like during the week of earnings report. We had solid numbers, MSTR announcing huge numbers in terms of just the net income that they've produced. And with all of the levers that they've created with Strike, Strife, Stride, so many different optionality plays to just buy more Bitcoin by just tapping into the bond market, the equity market, you name it. There's so much investor attraction with, strategy MSTR. Where are we headed now? Just based on the technicals, I do foresee we're going to see a reversal on the RSI. I love looking at these indicators and coupling MACD RSI with the volume. Volume's beginning to increase. We had a nice field day today going up, 6%. Yes, it dropped by 8% on Friday, but this is a nice testament showing that MSTR is climbing back up at 389,000. We're still holding support. We're going to continue to see higher lows established on the near term. I really do think August, September, we're going to see this breakthrough get into that $550, surpass that prior resistance all-time high that we saw back in November. And it's only a matter of time before we get to Valhalla land. I'm forecasting somewhere around that $1,000 as we get towards 2025. With all of that, let's listen to Michael Saylor with his overall updates with Bitcoin strategy and, the U.S. money markets with Strike and the ride the wave of crypto innovation. So Saylor, take it away.
All right, so in a recent X post, Michael Saylor, the executive chairman of Strategy, wrote, "Bitcoin is a swarm of cyber hornets serving the goddess of wisdom, feeding on the fire of truth, exponentially growing ever smarter, faster, and stronger behind a wall of encrypted energy." Joining me now, Strategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor. So, Michael, I had to go. I went on AI to ask if hornets are indeed good, and the answer was yes. Hornets are beneficial for the ecosystem, so they play a valuable role in controlling pest populations, even contributing to pollination. So I guess it's a good, appropriate metaphor there.
You know, Bitcoin's a virus. It's a freedom virus. It's based on a monetary virus that's in turn based on a truth virus. You know, and we think of it as a swarm creature because everywhere in the world, there's someone that's supporting the Bitcoin ecosystem with their electricity, their computer power, their political power, their economic power. And it's about as unstoppable as a swarm of hornets are unstoppable. You can't shoot a bullet through it. You know, it's spreading all throughout the world, and it just keeps getting stronger day by day, week by week, month by month.
This is something you told us was going to happen for the last few years. Now I gotta ask you though about the Bitcoin yield. I saw on your website 4.4% Bitcoin yield this quarter, 25% year to date. Those sound like very lofty numbers, but what does it even mean to folks out there?
You know, so Bitcoin's a long-term asset. You know, you want to hold it for 21 years. It's been returning about 50% plus a year. It's very volatile. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people that want 2x Bitcoin. They don't want the Bitcoin return. They want 100% return. So MicroStrategy, the equity, or Strategy, the equity, is amplified Bitcoin. We actually aim to generate 2x the Bitcoin return and 2x the volatility. And the way we do it is by issuing credit instruments. So believe it or not, there's someone that would like to get double the money market return or double the yield of their bank account. So if we give them 9%, we've doubled their bank account. We've kind of beat the SOFR rate by 5%. But, you know, Bitcoin's returning 55%. So if I take the 5% boost and I give it in a short duration treasury instrument to credit investors, the other 45% goes to the equity investors. That creates Bitcoin yield.
Wow. Okay. Now that you explained it, it sounds even more enticing. But you also posted that the Wall Street continues to misunderstand the strategy, continues to undervalue the company. Is there in your mind right now at this particular point a correct valuation?
You know, the accounting only became fair value this year. And so I think Wall Street is undervalued, underestimated, misunderstood what's going on in the entire crypto ecosystem. We're now the ninth most profitable company on an operating basis in the S&P. We're number 96 in market cap. We're like number 495 on a P/E basis. So I don't think Wall Street quite gets it. We're the fourth most profitable finance company in the United States right now, and it's pretty common to dismiss or to disparage something you're afraid of, you don't understand. I think that Wall Street's starting to come to grips with this new thing this year, but it'll probably be a few more years before they really understand the power of digital capital and Bitcoin as an ecosystem.
Well, you know, you just laid out the value proposition though for people who want to buy your stock. The Journal is just a recent article talked about this 86 billion, it's probably more now, raised by companies. They want to fund a treasury like with Bitcoin. You must be flattered. Of course, speaking in the financial media, I saw one piece that said it's a fad, another piece that wonders if it's a Ponzi scheme. What do you say? And is it a problem for you that everyone's sort of trying to mimic what you're doing right now with a scarce resource?
You know, 100 years ago, people disparaged companies that wanted to use electricity or gasoline in their business. They thought that was faddish. Again, they just don't understand it. This is digital capital. So if you're using traditional treasuries as capital, you're underperforming the S&P by 10% a year. So you're burning money on your treasury. If you're using Bitcoin, you're outperforming the S&P by something like 40% a year. So the more capital you raise, the more capital you hold, and the faster you create shareholder value. It's not a problem. All those companies are adopting the Bitcoin standard. It's just like companies deciding to put internal combustion engines in their machines or use electricity or the internet or computer semiconductors. It's going to become the rule over time, because why would you want your company to burn 10% of its capital every year when it could double or triple its capital every year?
Today, a company called Verb, which I had never heard of, up almost 100%. They raised close to $600 million for the open network, or Ton, for the Ton coin to be used on the Ton blockchain. We've got stablecoin, we've got Ether. It's the cyberspace is broadening. Does that change things for you? Does that change the calculus for where your company can go?
There's an explosion of innovation in the crypto economy right now, and I think Telegram is offering a wallet that lets you move Bitcoin and lets you move stable coins at the speed of light over that network. So I think it has to do with the enthusiasm of the technology community and this idea that maybe we could have 1 billion people that have a mobile app that moves money at the speed of light and stores their life savings in an asset that keeps going up in value. I think you'll see more and more of this innovation. Now we've got a new pro-innovation administration, and there's going to be thousands of very interesting ideas. They all come down to the digital transformation of finance and the digital transformation of capital.
Can I tell you, Michael, we've been talking on and off for years now, and I've always admired your vision and the way you stuck to this, even the times that you were on the mat, and you never cried, you never whined. You said, hey, listen, this is the value proposition, it's going to work, and you're changing the entire world now. Congratulations, Michael.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed another episode here at All I See Is W. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the comments, like, subscribe. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you on the next one.